Need a new iPhone X case? Let's check out some options. Dave Taylor here, and I'm still looking for the perfect case for my iPhone X. Here it is, iPhone X. Boom. And I already looked at a bunch of slim cases. You can check that out in this other review I did. And this time I wanted to look at more tough and rugged cases. You know, the kind that have like multiple layers to them, and there's rubber and hard plastic or metal. Wanted to have a chance to see which of the companies were making really cool rugged cases for the iPhone X. Now, one of the most important things that we're going to check as we go is we're going to check to make sure they're all Qi charging compatible. You know what Qi charging is. Hopefully, if you have an iPhone X, this is the coolest thing ever. It's wireless charging. Phone, no wires, no connections. I drop it on my phone salesman Qi charger, inexpensive purchase, and now it's charging right now. I didn't have to plug anything in. So obviously I want to have that same capability with a case. So let's start with our first case, which is from Society6. This is what they call their tough case. You can see they spare no expense with their packaging. It's okay, it's okay. But it's kind of a not super rugged case. It's two pieces. So there's the rubber insert that only is a bumper around the edges, and then there's the hard plastic with the graphic on it. So this takes a little bit of fiddling to get it to actually all fit neatly. But I have found that if I put the case, the phone in the rubber part, and then put that in the case, it seems to actually work a little more smoothly. And so there we go, and it's in. And first test, does it charge? And the beep tells you it does. Fantastic. So that's good. Nice one, Society6. And then my next question is, what kind of bevel does it have? And when I talk about a bevel, I mean the amount of the case that rises above the surface of the phone screen. And you want a decent bevel, because if your phone drops like that, you don't want the glass to actually have any of the impact at all. So here, the rubber around the edges absorbed all the impact. Now, there's a tiny nuance to this too, because I have the OtterBox Alpha Glass screen protector on it too. So that adds, I don't know, a millimeter, half a millimeter, not a lot, but it might come into play as we go down the road. So this is, like I said, the tough case from Society6, and I gotta say, there's a lot I like about it. I think they've done a nice job, but here's the thing, Society6, you guys haven't quite mastered putting the graphics onto the case. So when I look at the back of the case, I can see distortion and warps on the image that aren't supposed to be there. It's just part of the process that you're using. None of the other cases, for example, we'll look at the Speck inked. None of the other cases, I've never seen this before, which is a real drag because this is a pretty expensive case. The Society6 tough case, and this graphic, wonderful graphic called Metallic Mountain, it's $38.99. That's a lot of money for something that isn't quite applied properly. So Society6, if you like the graphics they have, that could be a deciding factor. The case itself is pretty nice. It definitely holds onto your phone pretty enthusiastically. But not my favorite choice, and I'm not a huge fan of having it be just a bumper rather than a full inside rubber. So let's look at another one. This one is the Melkco Cobalt. And so this is another interesting case because number one, it's pleasantly inexpensive, and number two, it comes with the double layer. So here's a full rubber insert, and then there's the outside, and you're looking and you're saying, nice, is that aluminum? No, that's what's weird about this, is it's actually just a soft, or well, it's a hard plastic, not super hard. So there's still a little bit of give to it, but it's painted and designed to look like metal, but it's not actually metal. So that's a little funky. So that probably limits just how protective the case can be, but that's okay. Let's give it a check anyway. Whoops, and let's try to figure out why is the flashlight on. There we go. So many buttons, so little time. So again, I'm going to just go ahead and put the case in, or the phone in the rubber case, and this is a really nice soft, I think they call it a TPU rubber or something like that. And then I just drop that into the case and literally done. That's easy. It's that easy to put this in the case, and the appearance is terrific. I mean, it looks really cool. And in terms of functionality, our first check is, you guessed it, Does it charge? And the answer is yes. Well, good. Now, since it's plastic, I didn't expect much. Some of the metal cases might have an issue, so we'll have to see how that goes. Now, this Melkco cobalt, and this is the sort of faux aluminum, is $24.99 at Amazon.com. So it's a nice inexpensive price for a case that does this. And in terms of the bevel, it has very little bevel, but it has some. So it's better than nothing. I don't think any of the cases we're looking at have a negative bevel, which is like totally a showstopper for me. But there's not much there, but it has a nice feel to it. And I like that it's relatively soft and easy to work with. So given all these cases and given how tricky some of them are, it's nice to have one that's easy to work with. All right, next up, Incipio. Now, this is the Incipio octane, and I suppose maybe this shouldn't be in the mix because it's not a two-part. It's not a two-piece case. It's actually a one-piece case. But it's a one-piece case made out of two different materials. So the back of it is a nice hard plastic, way less flexible than that other one. And the edges are actually a hard rubber. So there's a lot of shock absorbance there. And obviously with a design like this, it's super easy to put your phone in, boom, done, ready to roll. And next question, does it charge? Charging, works good. And in terms of the bevel, again, really little bevel. I wouldn't be unhappy to have it have maybe a millimeter more sticking up, but the feel of this case is really nice. It's a nice look to it. This one, I believe, is the plum color, and the edges, because they're that rubber and they actually have a textured grip on them, this is a great feel to it. This is a case you're not going to drop your phone if you have it in this case. Even the back is not smooth and slippery. There's some, I don't even know, there's like some friction to it or something. So, I mean, I can hold the case like this, and I can assure you in many of these cases, this would be an unsuccessful strategy. So, this is the Incipio octane, and it's $24.99, but you can pick it up at incipio.com instead. So those are our two budget cases. We'll keep looking. Next up is Speck. And so this is the Speck Presidio grip, right? So we'll pull it out. And you've seen people with these cases. These are really popular cases. And they have this military 10-foot drop test. So now I want to know, who the heck in the military's job is it to be testing iPhone cases? That's a pretty cool gig. Maybe it's not exactly what's going on. But this is another one where it's one piece, but if you feel, you can tell that there's sort of a hard interior and a soft rubber exterior. And these are very recognizable because of the chevron stripes on the sides, but these are really nice cases. Speck does a really good job with its cases. So once I get my phone in here, which is slightly tricky because it is a pretty rubbery case. Let's try it this way. I'm guessing it will fit. There we go. All right, there's 3 corners, 4th corner, you can do it. Ah, I see. Okay, so, we're good to go, but I seem to have folded down part of the interior. Here's a close-up of what's going on. That can't be right. It might just be I didn't put it in right, but it shouldn't be that hard to put a phone into your phone case. Anyway, I could probably pull it out and fix it. I just want to keep rolling. So this is the nice blue. I'm not sure what color blue they call this. In Speck Presidio grip. And of course, the question is, does it charge? The answer is yes. Does it have a bevel? And the answer is yes. Actually, almost a perfect size bevel. Just enough that I feel like there's lots of protection, but not so much that if I want to slide my thumb over, that I feel like there's stuff in the way. So really nice job with this Speck. And here's the thing is that when I checked right now, then actually this case, instead of being $39.95, the Presidio grip, it's actually $29.96. I don't know what the .5 and .6 are, whatever. So it's 10 bucks off right now. That might just be a Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing, so you might have missed it. But if you want to check it out, it's at speckproducts.com. So this is the Presidio grip. Let's get the phone out of it. You wouldn't think putting phones in cases would be such a workout. But it is. Crazy, man. Now, Here's the next one, and I don't know, maybe I should save this till the end because this was actually my winner, but we're just going in order, so we'll go and look at this one. So this is also from Speck. This is also the Presidio line, but this is the Presidio inked. So this is one of these lines where there's lots and lots of really cool graphics you can get. This particular one is just called Milky Way. It's just a nice star field, and people comment on it. They're really impressed and they think it looks really cool. And I have to agree with them. It's a really nice looking case even before I do anything with my phone. But let's go ahead and put the phone in. Probably should have this screen up. Go figure. I suspect that will make it easier to work with. And although I suppose it would be even that much more protective if I had screen down, but not very functional. Come on, case. You've been in this before. There we go. So now, from a design perspective, it's actually very similar to the Presidio grip, which is not a huge surprise, but it's actually more protective, I think. So it's hard plastic. The graphic is a wraparound graphic, as they say, so it's on the sides too. And it's a hard plastic, but they have these little rubber corners, which is kind of a neat idea. So I guess if your phone drops like this, then the hard plastic doesn't have to absorb the impact. Now, first test, Qi charging. It works. See, it all works. It's all easy enough. And in terms of the bevel, again, Speck nails it. They have the perfect size bevel. I really like it. And this is with the screen protector. Without it, I'd have even a slightly higher bevel. But what I really like about it, and I'm sorry to bring you up against Society 6, but Speck absolutely knows how to put an image onto a case. And when I look at this at an angle and have light reflecting off of it, it is perfectly smooth. There's nothing to feel, there's nothing to see. I really like that. I really like the aesthetic of this case. So this is the Speck Presidio inked, and normally it would run $44.95, but it's also on sale when I looked at it this week for $33.71, which is a pretty sweet deal. And that's at speckproducts.com. We'll come back to this one. Now, let's get the phone out of it again. See, it's funny. Sometimes phones are easier to get out than to put in. Go figure. There's some really inappropriate euphemism there, but we're not going there. So, 2 cases left. Let's see. This gets my award for just the coolest case. This is the Urban Armor Gear Monarch. And let me pull it out, and you'll see, and you'll be like, whoa, that's cool. This is the case that, like, if you want to go hunting or something, or you want to just look really mean, check that out. That is a cool looking case. And it's actually a well-designed case because the outer part is, I'm pretty sure it's a hard plastic, not a metal. And then there's all sorts of different rubbers. So there's a hard rubber on the corners, and then there's a softer rubber on the sides. So let's put the phone in and see what it looks like. Oh, that goes in remarkably easily. Nice job, Urban Armor. So here we have the phone in here, and man, I just like this case. And it also has this feel of being like a really big, tough case, but surprisingly, it doesn't add much depth, and it really doesn't add any width at all. So it's really a pretty slim case for something that's this tough. Now, will it charge? It charges, yay! And does it have a good bevel? The answer is, it's slightly lower than I'd like, but it's a pretty good bevel. It's certainly gonna work if you drop your phone straight down. And honestly, this is possibly the coolest looking of all the cases. I mean, this is just really fun. And you know, Urban Armor has this in multiple colors, but I will say it's pretty spendy. This is the most expensive case we're looking at. This Urban Armor Gear Monarch case is $59.95 at urbanarmorgear.com. So pretty spendy. That's twice the cost of one of these guys. But honestly, cooler case. Just saying, you know, obviously you have your own tastes. And that leaves us down to one final contestant for our exciting challenge. Although I guess I already told you the winner. Oh well. So NewerTech makes all sorts of interesting stuff, and this is their iPhone case line. This is the Nuguard KX, and it is a really nice case. It's all basically one material. It's a sort of a soft rubbery plastic. Well, I don't know, somewhere between soft and hard. It's really a nice feel to it. The inside actually feels like it's some of that microfiber sort of stuff, so it's going to take care of your little phone, so that's good. And let's go ahead and put the phone in, having it all oriented correctly. Will it go in easily? Maybe that's one of the tests I should do is, you know, how many seconds of struggling does it take to put your darn phone in? That wasn't too bad. So now the phone's in the case, and it's a pretty thick case, so things are deep. Like to get to the button, the sort of volume mute button, it's pretty far in there. If you don't have fingernails, you're gonna have a bit of a struggle there. And same with the camera, it's pretty deep in there. It's not gonna affect the way the camera works, but it's good to know that this is not really an elegant case, but it's a really functional case. Does it charge? Yes, every single one of these cases works with the Qi charging. Good job, everybody, and important for you to know, because if you're getting an iPhone 10, you really want to have that capability. And in terms of the bevel, has a really nice bevel. The front of it, it adds maybe a little width and height to the phone screen itself, but there's a lot going for this. And they also have this sort of texturing that they've done on the back that gives you a nice feel and makes it, again, you know, pretty non-slip, which is a good characteristic. So this is the NewerTech Nuguard KX, and it's $49.99 at maxsales.com, or you can go to NewerTech and you can learn about it there. I think Max Sales is the store side of NewerTech. I think that's how that works. Anyway, so that's all of our cases. I'm going to go back to this. This is the Speck Presidio inked with Milky Way on it as a graphic, not as a candy bar. And honestly, this is the case that I'm using now. This is the one that by default I'm having on my phone until I find an even better one. So I think it's fair to say that on this particular shootout that it was Speck that won the challenge, though it is not winning the elegantly put your phone back into the case while you're talking challenge, but that could be me. Okay, there we go. So phone's back in, and this is, like I said, the Speck Presidio inked. And actually looking at it, the only comment I'll make is that the cutout for the power switch seems to have been created before they had their hands on a phone, because it's not really exactly the right size or in a perfect position. I'm very willing to forgive that, because quite frankly my phone's always in mute because I just don't really like the ringtones. So that's all I got for you. So this has been a bunch of iPhone 10 cases. They're all tough, they're all rugged. There's some really good choices here depending on what you like and what your budget is. For me, the winner is the Speck Presidio inked. And this is Dave Taylor, and I'll catch you in my next video. But hold on, if you haven't left yet, good job. This is like, I should have like little scenes at the end after the credits, right? No, not a Marvel movie. I do just want to ask if you can click on that subscribe button. That's super helpful. Now we're done. Thanks.